This is an electric epoxy resin mixer. I was sent this to review for free. If you wanted to buy it, it would cost you about $9. They haven't paid me for my review, and my opinion remains my own. Alright, so in the box we have a very thin silicone sheet for protecting your cable from epoxy. There's a stand to hold this guy and the accessories. There's two AA batteries because it is powered by AA batteries, but they are provided in the package, just your first set. And then they also have a bonus epoxy resin mixing cup that looks to be like a silicone flexible mixing cup. And then this is the main hand unit itself. Very colorful. And it includes two sizes of epoxy mixing paddles. So there's a kind of smaller one and slightly larger one here with the larger shaft. They both have a 1/4 inch kind of socket chuck hex in the back here, and so those will fit into this guy here. So I guess this guy would, so it has a magnet inside that holds these in. I imagine anything with kind of that 1/4 inch hex would fit in there, and if it's metal, it would stick in there. These guys have a slight feel of machine oil on it, so I'm assuming it's a metal that can rust, and you probably want to clean some of that oil off before you use it to mix resin. And so how this stand works is you can, put these guys in there, and then the resin will drip off down onto the stand, and maybe, stick these guys into there. But assuming you've gotten the resin off already, it's a reasonable way just to kind of store it. So it was easy to open the battery compartment. The positions for these batteries are pretty well labeled. And it was turned on by default. Okay. Close up. So there's one control button on the back, and there appears to be a single speed. Now it looks kind of like a milk frother, which would be way too fast, but if you watch here, the speed is actually relatively good for mixing epoxy. Fast enough to stir it, not so fast you're going to be introducing unnecessary bubbles. So this is definitely geared appropriately for mixing resin. And they specifically say push this down into the resin, have only the shaft going through the surface before you turn it on to prevent bubbles from this paddle. And then when you turn it off, make sure you turn it off before you lift it out of the resin. So, at this price point, I think this guy is a great deal. It is very inexpensive feeling, but it was also very inexpensive on a price point. And so I think, this can save you a lot of effort mixing resin by hand, and it's possible this may do a better job than you, depending on your technique. So they include this cup here. It's labeled up to 100 milliliters, or maybe 3 to 4 ounces here. And so these guys fit in this particular cup pretty well, although you could use them in anything larger than this cup as well. So it includes batteries. It does what it says it's going to do, has this little stand for storage, a couple of extra accessories like the mat and the cup. This seems like a pretty good value for the low price that it's charging.